Three things that I come across the most in my work as a life coach and a horse trainer is that people pleasing and not the feeling of not being enough and not being good enough. And also, am I too much? And the last part, being too much, is something that I have experienced my whole life. So people will often, when they meet me in person, feel that I'm a little too much. I have a very huge energy, which means that animals will tend to look at me before even entering a field or pasture. They will recognize something is going on here. And before I knew what that was, I had the awareness that, so animals are looking at me. What is it they know that I don't know about myself? And if you are a horse owner, you will know that your horse is more or less desperately trying to show you something. And that can be more or less dangerous or hurting or whatever feeling you can get from working with that horse. What in short term, whatever your horse is having is a reflection of you, what you need to heal, what wounds you have in yourself. And going back to the part of I don't feel good enough, that is the most common in all the sessions that I've had. That is the feeling that shows up. I don't feel good enough. And what if people judge me? What if my horse does something that is not very intentional and it doesn't look good? Then others will judge me, laugh at me. What will happen? I don't feel very well. I feel ashamed and I feel embarrassed. So that is every time you are searching for validation from the outside. And one of the common, the point in life is to know how to validate yourself. And if your horse is doing something that's not appropriate in your picture, just know that everything that you go out and do in your life is intentional or unintentional, but the horse mirrors you. So even though that you didn't want this to happen, it will happen. And what it shows is what kind of frequency do you have? What energy do you have? If you are searching for validation from the outside, maybe you want all the prizes, maybe you want all the things so people can say, oh my God, you're so good. That's your ego. Ego wants that, and we all have ego, but that's your ego who wants it. When you know that when you're doing something, that's one vibration. If your ego wants things and you're pushing so that other can tell you that you're good enough, low vibration and the ego. So if you want to do that in a different way, know that everything you have and see in your surroundings is something you attract. You create your reality. And when we take responsibility for that, we will know that when something happens, it's something to trigger us. And when we experience triggers, it's because something is not healed inside of us. So what can we do about that? And there can be a million ways to go about that. But and that's what I do in my work. That is helping people seeing things more simple, more easy, because most people are overthinking it. You are making it way too difficult. And so knowing that when you want to create from a higher vibration, you will have to start to know when and how can I be able to get to a point where I'm doing this because it's fun, it's learning, I don't make mistakes, I experience new learnings. I experience new ways not to do it. And the more that I do it, I know that this is not the way I want to go. So next time I'm going to be more prepared. But when you keep reacting and you are in your emotions, you will experience that everything feels horrible. And it can be very difficult to get out of that. And maybe you would need help with that. And I'm here to do that. Simply DM me and we'll talk into that. So, how did I come about learn all of this? Well, in my life, it has always been super easy to see through very complex things. Girls, females, and their horses are very complex things. I love the work. It's very beneficial for me. I learn a lot every time I have clients on these sessions. So it's easy for me to see what is the wounding here, what is the pattern that keeps on repeating. Everything is a pattern in this world. So every time you have a pattern, and for somebody to recognize this is your pattern, you have to interrupt it and make a redirection. And how to do that? But this is kind of like the framing, making complex things simple and more easy. And I know that it's not going to feel easy for you, but the minute you start to walk the walk, you will be more accustomed to getting out of your comfort zone. And many will call it, I have anxiety, or I have an experience that says that this is. And of course, when you name it, you claim it, then it's yours. You have it, and maybe also you will fight for it because your experiences is your experience. Just know that it's probably not true because you are biased to your own thoughts. Yes, so this is also very complex, but I wanted to make a video that was a little longer so that you can kind of get a feeling of what is it that I can perhaps help you with. I do many of these sessions, of course, in person, but in the life coaching section of my business, I do that mostly online. So the next thing is that when we start to talk, I can actually hear thoughts, voices coming in. So I know that, okay, so this is the truth. This is where we have to start, because in the beginning, client will talk and talk and talk, and this is my story, and this is why I am this way, and this is how, and let's start from the starting point and go from there, because you are making it too big and too complex. Another thing is also to know that you're actually not that important. And I don't mean that in the sense that you don't mean anything, but I mean that if you are taking yourself too seriously, you will end up fighting for your old stories and old beliefs. And that is what is keeping you stuck. So if you want to get some help getting unstuck, just DM me.